All right. Hello, everybody. It is March 21st of March, 2024. And I guess that makes us almost a good chunk into the year here. I don't know if we're a quarter of the way through, but we're getting close. So keep in mind that year-end process that we do. We used to do it end of December. I'd really recommend you do that quarterly. So it might be time to pull that out and take a look at it. We won't go through it here on the call, but just as a general practice, probably be a good thing to do in your business, just as a check-in, like to know how are you doing instead of wait until the end of the year. And it might be kind of motivational for some of you to kick you in gear, maybe give you that kick in the butt you might need. I know we all need that every once in a while, but cool stuff. So I know a lot of people are complaining about business being bad. I got to tell you, I'm not seeing that. I've been as busy as I've ever been over the last 6 months. And it's not just because of the new software either. There's projects like just coming out of the woodwork out there. But it's the flywheel concept. If you're not doing anything and your flywheel is stuck, it takes a big push to get it moving. And basically some of those things to get it moving are exposure, or are you exposing yourself in a business good way? I'm on a slippery slope there. Uh, it's like going to the gender reveal party and being kicked out because you got to put your pants back on or something. Hey, that's a gender reveal, right? But but anyway, you know what I'm talking about. Exposure in business. If you're not exposing people to what you're offering, your flywheel's not moving. You need to get that momentum going. Whether you get on people's podcasts or whether you do social media posts or whether you do paid ads, speaking at networking groups, you got to do something. You can't just sit, in your cocoon and hope people find you. You've got to have a plan. You have to have something to sell and something to sell it to. And if you've got something to sell and you know who you need to sell it to or who needs to buy it, you need to get it in front of them. You need to figure out what is your mode to do that. And like I said a couple of weeks ago, there's no one size fits all here. You got to figure out what's right for you, what's right for your business, and what's right for who you're trying to sell to. That's the key element. It's always about them. You'll notice that. It's very rarely about you. Nobody cares. It's about who you're selling to. That's what's important to them is what's important to them. They could care less about what's important to you, unless what's important to you is making sure they get what they want. And if you can position yourself to be the person that helps them get what they want, then you'll become relevant. You will be a trusted source. So when you're exposing yourself to these people, how you do it is important. And back to that thing, if you expose yourself as someone that is there to help them get what they want, you will be shined a favorable light upon you. If you don't, if you show up, as somebody that's like, uh, a carnival greeter trying to get you over, and hey, this guy is most likely a pickpocket. I don't really want to go over there. And, the guy's really aggressive and in your face and, coercing you to do something you don't want to do. That's not the way you want to expose yourself. You want to expose yourself as being someone that's there to help them get what they want in a very non-aggressive way that's going to be a pleasant experience for them. But getting that flywheel going And not every action you take is going to be equal. Like I talked about getting on podcasts. You know, if you've got people that have podcasts, getting on those podcasts, that can help you. But that same action, like I said, it doesn't mean that they're all equal. There might be 10 podcasts that you could get on. One might have your ideal audience on it, and the other four do not. So if you're getting on podcasts that don't have your ideal audience on them, you're probably going to be wasting your time. You're going to be sitting back thinking, God, I did 4 podcasts and I didn't get any sales. I didn't even get anybody to opt in. It was the wrong market. You know, remember, you got 3 things that equate to success. You've got the market. You've got to figure out the market. That's in your analysis. Figure out who they are, what they want, why they want it. That's your market. Then you got to get your message. That's the creation part. You got to figure out, how do you convey the value of what you have to that market, right? And then traffic. It's bringing the message to the market. So if you've got a market that's not yours and you've created a message for someone else, and you bring that message to that wrong market, that's a recipe for disaster. You know, or at least it's a recipe to not get success. Maybe it won't hurt you. Maybe it's not such a bad thing, not such a disaster. Maybe it's good because it'll just give you practice. If you haven't ever done a podcast before, it doesn't matter. You just need the practice. You need to get comfortable showing up and giving your spiel. You know, and I say spiel, don't make it a spiel. Make it useful content. Make it good for them. But if you show up on the right one, and I know I did this, I got on a bunch of people's podcasts, and you know, I gave great interviews and all that, and I got no business because of it. I did probably 10 or 12 of them. And I'm just sitting back thinking, God, what a waste of my time. I've got better shit to do. Like, I could take a nap. You know? And and then I got on the right one. And all of a sudden, that created a whole bunch of business. It got my flywheel moving. That business got me on other podcasts that were the right ones. It also led to several webinars, and it sold a bunch of my product. It not only sold the product for what the product was, it sold all the other stuff that I offer as well. So it's like, you need that momentum. You need to figure out how to get the right message to the right market to start that wheel moving. Then once that wheel's moving, things will get a lot easier. But you gotta get the wheel moving, no matter how you slice it. So I want to open this up. Is there any questions? Anything anybody wants to bring forward? Problems? Let me see. I got a couple here, emails that came in during the week that let's see. Tim, I don't know if Tim is on here or not.
Yes, I am.
Hey, Tim, how's it going? Welcome aboard.
Hey, thank you. I'm on my way back to my home office, so forgive me for the moving background.
No worries. I got your email here, and why don't you just come on out and just tell me what best way we can help you here.
Beautiful. I really appreciate it, John. Thank you. So,
Yeah.
I have my website redone. Was completed a few months ago, and uh,
Is that
it
the
is a
H?
dumpster fire.
Is that the HOCWC?
Yes, sir.
All right, let me pull
Yeah.
it up here. I have
Well,
not, full disclosure, I've not even looked at it yet, but we'll look at it right now.
cool. I appreciate it. Yeah, we used to get a few leads a day from our old website, which was a basic website on Squarespace, and then had this big overblown WordPress site built out. And our lead flow went from that to a couple of weeks. Like it's just too confusing. There's too much on there, and really we have two core demographics: people in pain, the people that want to do body contouring and lose fat.
Yeah.
And it's right now, as you scroll down, you'll see it's talking about way too much.
Yeah.
And the struggle I've had is, they say if you talk to everyone, you're talking to no one, and that seems to be going on right now. And my my struggle is, how do I fine tune it down to sort of really those two core things that we really specialize on and focus on.
Okay. What are those two core things?
Well, the one bucket is pain relief, and there's multiple subcategories within that: chronic pain, acute pain from an injury or post-surgical, exercise pain, and then the other main category, which is our more high ticket offering, is body contouring using a non-invasive technology.
Okay. So that's a perfect example. Those are two completely different avatars. Completely different.
Yes, yes, and people that are overweight typically are in quite a bit of pain, and our
Yeah.
body contouring technology does have an FDA clearance to help with arthritis, pain, circulation. So, but their mind isn't there. Their mind is, I want to lose weight, I want to
Correct.
lose fat, I don't care how I
Yeah.
feel.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the thing. That's the most important thing here, is to figure out what they want and why they want it. If they want pain relief and that's all they're focused on, they might not even be equating that to the weight.
Sure.
They're just worried about the pain. You got some people that the weight is more of a pain point than the actual pain itself. And what you can do, it gives you the ability to bring them in the way they want to be brought in, talking about what's already going on in their head. And then you can introduce other ideas to them. You can introduce the fact that, hey, this pain is probably because of the weight. So we can eliminate not only the weight, the pain will go away too. And then you can introduce them to the body sculpting and, all the way down the line. But for each different avatar, you've got to figure out the path. Each one's going to have a different path. And if you don't get them in, you'll never get the opportunity to explain all that to them. So
Mm-hmm.
that's like the journey. That's the customer journey through your system. You might meet them at a completely different place, talking about a completely different thing, and then awaken them to what you want them to be awakened to, and take them through your process and get them what they need, but you have to do it in the way that they want it. So very, very important. Now, as far as this site, yeah, you're right. There's a lot going on. There's things in the right place. There's things that are not in the right place. The You've got the smallest text up here. It's almost like there's so much going on here that I can't even read that. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You've got a call to action here, caller text. You've got a call to action there. You've got a testimonial here for something I don't even know what it is yet. Miracle on Treatment Boulevard. See, it's a lot of stuff out of context. Like
Okay.
I don't know why I'm going to call. I don't know what the first time experience is. It's in what you're doing here. You're asking for a marriage proposal on the first date.
Mm.
Typically, what happens in that scenario is you get rejected. So I can see how you've got a lot of rejection going on here. As I scroll down, you've got some really good stuff. So, like this text here jumps out at me. I have no problem reading that and understanding exactly what it means. Up here, I'm like, okay, explore what true healing is at it's even clunky wording.
Yeah, it is.
It's like healing is at or healing is at. It's hard to read, hard to
Hmm.
understand. And then Miracle on Treat Boulevard. No context. I have no idea what that is or how that relates.
Hmm.
And then you've got here, he calls it the Miracle on Treat Boulevard, and he's absolutely right. But it's like what you're doing here, you're having a conversation that your prospect is not privy to. That's not cool. That makes them
Mm.
feel like an outsider. It's
Okay.
like Frank Kern, a very, very, very popular and very effective marketer. He says it's great to speak a secret language, but you have to indoctrinate your prospect in and teach them that language before you start speaking it to them. So here you're speaking the secret language, but they're not indoctrinated to it. And what you're going to do, it's us versus them. And they are going to feel like they're the them part and they're not part of the us part. So you've got to bring them into the fold. And the way you do that is teaching them the secret language. It's like this is very common in SEO. There's a lot of SEO terms in that industry that only the industry insiders know. So if you're a marketer of SEO services and you start speaking in the SEO language to people that are business owners that don't speak that language, you alienate them. So that's kind of what's going on here above the fold. Because you don't have enough of this above the fold to really see what it's all about. And here you've got this background image, or this is your thumbnail image on your video. Pulling the YouTube video in here, you might want to think about using some sort of a paid video hosting service if you're going to put videos on your homepage. Because what's going to happen here is I'll start running this video, and then what's going to happen, an ad for your competitor is going to pop up. And now you just gave space and a spotlight to your competitor. So if you're using videos for promotional materials, you probably want to get a paid ad service. I use Kartra. If you've never heard of that, it's a CRM and it has a lot of different things included in it. Video hosting is one. That's one of the reasons I love it. It just gives me everything for marketing in one convenient location. But there's stuff like Vimeo and other paid video services that you can pay and not have ads in your videos.
Okay.
But I would take this thumbnail image and instead of having text on it, I would leave the text over here. I would put something here that's really compelling to get them to want to click on it and watch it. Instead of, you've got a bunch of text here, you've got text laying over text, you got round text, side text, horizontal text. It's just very confusing. But typically this is what is called a big idea. And a big idea, if you this is one of the things that you'll learn in the ACT program. Big idea is your attention grabber. And the attention grabber is the first piece of the process. So up here, we don't really have any attention grabber. We've got a circus going on. You got all these distractions, and it's just like you're overwhelmed.
Hmm.
This is what the top of your homepage should look like.
Okay.
Big, big, bold, boom. That's big idea. And a big idea has typically three pieces. It's got a promise. The promise should be, what your ideal customer wants. And then you have to have a unique delivery mechanism, and that's the thing that's going to deliver the result. So here you're just calling it rapid pain relief from chronic and acute pain. So what you've got is you've got the promise. but you don't have a unique delivery mechanism, and that causes the problem of the person not believing it.
Hmm.
They could say, yeah, I've heard that before. And that's the end of the story. You didn't grab their attention with that. So you have a promise, and then you attach it to a unique delivery mechanism that now all of a sudden they can see, oh, okay, I get it. I see how that would work. And then the third piece to a big idea is saying it in a way they've never heard it before. Something interesting, something, that evokes their curiosity. So that's what you should lead as your headline. And then you can have a smaller print under there that's a call to action. Click to watch the video, and we'll show you how it works. Now they're coming in, there's very clear messaging. You're telling them what to do. The video can lead them to the next step. So you're going from one call to action to the next, and you're using, I like to use what I call micro commitments. When you're bringing someone into your marketing process, you want to use micro commitments. And over here, what you're doing is, this is not a micro commitment here. This is a marriage proposal, and on the first date. So micro commitments. Click to watch the video. That's a micro commitment. We've earned it. We've given them a good headline. We've grabbed their attention. We've earned that micro commitment of, hey, watch the video and I'll show you how it works. So they'll take that action versus a rejection. Then in the video, they're going to learn something. They're going to get more interested. The more you tell them about how to get what they want, the more their interest is going to peak. What you're doing is you're creating demand and desire for what you have to offer. So in the marketing process, your customer is going to go through like 4 phases. First is you have to grab their interest. You have to get their attention. Next, you got to create that demand and desire. You got to get them to understand what you have, get the value, and want it. The next thing is, if you've done that, you should be able to sell them. But the only thing that's going to stand in the way of your selling them is an objection. So you have to address any objections, eliminate the objections, and then the final piece of their journey is the offer. That's the offer of what you ultimately want to sell them. And then once you do that, once you sell them on the first thing, now the relationship really begins. Now the marriage has taken place. But here's the most important thing. How long is it going to last? Is this going to be a short marriage, a honeymoon, and then it's over and now you're in divorce court? Or do you want it to last a lifetime? If you want to last a lifetime, you have to treat it, you have to nurture it. And this is what I talk about with lifetime value of a customer. It's hard to get that marriage. It's hard to get them to accept the proposal and then go through with the ceremony. We're talking about pulling their credit card out and becoming an actual customer. Then the honeymoon takes place. That point right there is the most blissful they're ever going to be with you. That's the honeymoon phase. That's the best time to increase their order. Right there when they've purchased the first entry level thing, you've changed the dynamic. You've changed the relationship. They're no longer a prospect. They are now a customer. This is now your spouse. So this is a really good time to introduce the next thing. Like a lot of times, it's been very common calling a tripwire. The first sale they call a tripwire. That just really starts the whole process. So you might sell them a small thing, and then you might sell them a bigger thing, and then you might sell them the whole thing. If you go in trying to sell them the whole thing, it's too big of a decision. It's too fast.
So how do you do that for a local business like this situation where I'm giving them, or I'm offering a 50% off coupon to come in and experience the services. And in the past, that's worked well on our old website.
Uh-huh. So if that works, if that's worked in the real world, that might be a good way to go. But if they're, think about that too, if they're coming in, they come in, you're not just supplying that service and then sending them home, right?
Mhm.
You're introducing them to a series of treatments, right?
Mhm.
So you're really doing it already. You're giving them that one little taste.
Mhm.
You're letting them have a good experience. And usually, again, this is the honeymoon part. You've changed the relationship from a prospect to a customer. And that first experience with you is going to probably be a blissful experience. They're going to experience what you have to offer. And, you know, if they're happy about it, that's the perfect time to offer them the next experience.
Mhm.
So here on your website, you just need to replicate that. So I don't see any of that here. Like I don't even know what a experience voucher is, your first time experience voucher. It's just all a mystery. Now, if you're sending people to the website that already know, this might be okay,
Mhm.
but I still wouldn't do it this way. I would I would say your most important thing above the fold is like, you know, you've got your logo and you've got your links to all of your stuff in here. You may want to put your phone number up here, but not with a call to action on it.
Okay.
And then your above the fold stuff here. This should be all about that. This should be about what they're going to get, the
Mhm.
promise. The promise and the way it's going to get delivered is in person. You know, it's that, let's say you're going to have and I don't know, you know, what you're delivering in this first experience, but I've seen a local chiropractor in my area that did really, really well with this. He invited people in for like an evening seminar into his office and he fed them. You know, he gave them sandwiches and beer. That was his hook. You know, that was his thing of like, hey, you're going to get this for free. They came in, he did a little seminar, and then he invited them to the sample, you know, the single treatment. And the single treatment was an evaluation. It wasn't really a treatment, it was get a free spinal evaluation to find out how close to the edge of the cliff you are. And he was kind of using a fear factor of, you know, a lot of people don't know they're on the edge of the cliff until they fall off, and then it's too late. And then, you know, they've taken that little bit of pain that they were experiencing that they ignored, and they went over the cliff, and now they're screwed. And now they have two options. They have a long, expensive journey of therapy to get back up on the top of the cliff, or they can go in for surgery and there's a chance they'll be paralyzed for the rest of their life. You know, he's really throwing some doom and gloom at them, you know, or you can take this free spinal exam and we can tell you exactly where you are if you have anything to worry about, or if you are on the edge of the cliff, we can bring you back. We can make sure you don't go over. We can prevent you from having that spinal surgery and, you know, yada yada yada. So that was an education process. Education-based marketing works really, really well. And you don't even have to do it in person. You don't even have to do like what he did. He was doing that before the internet. This goes back probably, you know, 30 years ago. He was doing this. And he was the most successful chiropractor in our area because of the way he did that. Nowadays, it's so much easier. You can automate that. You could do the seminar that he did in a webinar, and you could offer that up, you know, across the internet to thousands of people. You don't even have to buy them sandwiches and beer. but you could take him through that education-based marketing. That's all he was doing. He was doing education-based marketing, and it worked really, really well for him. So
So
just
would that
figuring
be
out,
the initial offer or tripwire sort of thing to indoctrinate them into what we do and what we have?
yeah, yeah, you need, so the tripwire might be an evaluation. It might be free. Like I see this at ophthalmologists. You go into the eye doctor, right, for a free eye exam. These people are really, really good at this. If you haven't been in to have your eyes checked lately, do this. Just sign up for the free eye exam, and I guarantee you they're going to get probably at least a couple $100 out of you because they're going to give you the free eye exam, but then they're going to guilt you into doing all these other things. They're going to say, would you like us to do a pressure test on you? And the reason, they go right into here's why you want it. Here's what I've got. Here's what it's going to do for you. Here's what you should do next. That's the formula. So here's what I've got. It's a simple pressure test. It's just a little puff of air that hits your eye. What it's going to do for you is it's going to allow me to tell you if you have nerve damage, if you've got this, if you've got, potential of losing your eyesight, right? For most people, your eyesight's pretty damn important to you. For $25 to find out if you're going to have something that you could prevent, probably worth $25, right? So now all of a sudden the free eye exam is $25. And then they're going to do something else and they're going to charge you a little bit more and a little bit more and a little bit more. And, by the time you're out of there, you could be hundreds of dollars in. So, and then, if you do need glasses or contacts or whatever, then they're going to take you into the sales process of selling you that stuff, the frames and the anti-glare and the anti-scratch. It's not just the basics. You do not walk out of there with just a basic set of glasses, right? It's the whole customer journey, and they got it figured out. They got it dialed in. A lot of local businesses, they seem simple, but they've got these processes, and it's not because the local doctor is all that sharp. He belongs most likely to a group, an organization. And the organization basically says, here's how you do this, here's how you run this business. And they help them. So if you want to really learn, learn from those local guys that have learned from their organizations. They've spent a ton of time and money figuring out. And if you're not running your business like that, you're leaving a lot of money on the table. You're probably not being as effective as you could be. So it's the difference between the little local chiropractor that's out on his own and the one that belongs to an organization that goes to the trade shows and he learns how to run his business properly. That's marketing. He's learning marketing.
So from the two different sort of buckets and categories, the pain and the body contouring, from a homepage, lead magnet education, indoctrination standpoint, I probably don't want to put those in the same thing.
Correct.
How I sort of lay that out from a homepage, landing page perspective.
So when you come to that point, if you've got two completely different avatars, then you just take what I talked about here and you just push that one step down.
Okay.
So you're above the fold now as a choice. Are you here for this or are you here for that? Perfect example is real estate. Buyers and sellers. Totally different conversation. They each want a totally different thing that is absolutely opposite of the other. The buyer, he wants a good deal. The seller wants max value. Those two couldn't be any polar opposite, any more polar opposite. So if you talk about getting the most for your home, the buyer's going to go, God, that's not the realtor for me. And if you talk about getting a good deal, the seller's going to go, I'm not working with that guy. That guy just wants to blow my house out. right? So you separate the herd right out of the gate. You have buyers and sellers. That's it. That's their decision. Are they a buyer or are they a seller? They click the button and they drop down one page, and now we know who we're talking to. So now we can go into the big idea. So you could do the same thing here. You just figure out who the two are and let them self-select. It's really easy for them to self-select. They'll click the button and say, that's me. Boom. And now they're on the right page. And then down here, you've kind of got this here. Choose your lifestyle goal. So this is a way that they could self-select. So this is like your initial thing. They click here for the pain. They click here to lose fat. Click here for detox. Those are really specific things that someone might be interested in. Then when they click that, they go to the next page, and now it's the big idea about detox. You got to have the promise. You got to have the unique delivery mechanism that eliminates the objection of, well, I don't think that's going to work. That eliminates that. And then you're saying it in an interesting way they've never heard it before. So that's big idea. So that's how you hook them. That's how you can get people to be opting in, to be leaning forward, to be asking questions, which is exactly what you want them to do. If you just have like a lot of people have these things, they call them platitudes. And a platitude is just like saying, yeah, we're the best. Really? I don't believe it. The best of who? We've been in business for 50 years. Well, so what? That just means you've killed more people than the rest. I mean, all these things could be going through their head. So you want to stay away from that kind of stuff. Generic platitudes, you should just completely steer clear of, because honestly, nobody cares. They don't care about you. They don't care about how good you think you are. They don't care about how long you've been in business. They don't care about, anything about you. All they care about is themselves. If you position it as you've got something that they want, it will help them. That's what's important to them. So steer clear of platitudes when you're, developing your websites and all that kind of stuff. Anything that has to do with marketing. So here's where like our technology is featured in. This is proof. So this is good stuff. This is where you've got a testimonial here. There's the only problem with this testimonial is it's speaking a language I don't understand yet. So it's out of order. But down here, this is where you're entering into the proof part. So that's where that stuff belongs. Okay. HOCs. Okay. So what does HOC stand for, by the way?
Human Optimization Center.
Okay. So that's a perfect example of like, yeah, I see it in your logo, but it's hidden. It's completely hidden, and it's again, it's a language I don't speak yet. You really need to help your prospects understand your language if you want them to bond to you. So I would put that right here. I would take that human optimization center and put that right here and attach it to HOC so they know when they see HOC, that's what it means. That should be part of your header. And then the art of self-healing, that should be that's your subtext. So that should be right under it. So here's what it is. Here's what it does. It's just you've hidden it inside this little circle. So it's like you're on a treasure hunt. You're not making it easy.
No, I'm not.
So that's what I would put up here. I'd put Human Optimization Center, the art of self-healing. Now I know where I am. I get it. I totally get it now. And then this stuff, you can just kind of move things down into the appropriate sequence, the appropriate order. But devising this, for what you want, if you want them to, to take this first initial offer, you just need to lead them through so that makes sense. So you got a lot of good stuff here. Like when we get into this section of the site, this looks clean and good. This section is looking good. Up here, it's a mess. It's a circus going on up here. So once we get past the circus, now you've got a good look. You've got, nice open white space. It's not crowded. It's easy to assimilate. So again here, free voucher. Where would I know what that voucher is for?
In that text where I explain that first responders, their first time is free, but not clear enough because there's a lot of text there that doesn't, well, right there in that you can enjoy the first visit for free. Not only that, you get a 15% discount on memberships.
Okay. But you're introducing a voucher. I didn't see that word up here anywhere else. So you just want to be careful, like you don't want them to feel like a ball in a pinball machine bouncing around. Like, oh, this is how he says it here. Here's how he says it here.
Mhm.
You just need really, really simple, clear communication. Like like up here, special, that should be voucher.
Mhm.
You should say, we have a special voucher for first responders. That voucher is good for your free visit on your first time in. And then now we know what it is. And then when we say click here to claim your free voucher, boom, I know exactly what I'm claiming. So, and I don't want you to feel like I'm beating up on you
No,
here.
I wouldn't. No, I mean, I'm going to beat up on the web designers because I didn't know well enough to direct them better. And I
Yeah.
thought I hired professionals and ended with this. No, please take it. I take zero offense to all this. I love it.
Okay.
I
Cool.
got pages of notes.
And here's something that you should know. It's not that your web designer did a bad job designing the website, right? What they didn't do is they didn't do the marketing for you.
Right.
Their job isn't to create your content. Their job is to take what you give them and make it look pretty.
Well, they said they were specialists at that as well, not just putting things on,
Oh,
but actually helping with the customer journey and things of that nature. So, yeah.
okay. Well, if that's the case, you can go
Right.
back and tell them I said they suck.
Oh, I have already. Yes. And you're not the first one to say that.
But typically, and I just want that to be known for everybody that web designers are typically not marketers. You might have a marketing company that has a web development team and they guide them in creating the websites. But typically, a web designer, web developer is typically not a marketer. Sometimes they're very good at graphics, sometimes they're really good at color palettes. They're good at design and layout and coding and all that stuff. But that's a very different skill set than marketing.
Yeah, clearly.
So marketing is like what you're going to find like as you go through. I know you're new to the program. As you go through like the ACT process, you're going to see that it's all about communication. It's all about crystal clear, simple communication of value. You have to let them know that you've got what they want that's going to get them where they want to go. So the best thing that you could possibly do is really get to know and understand them, and not only understand what it is that they want, but understand why they want it. Because that's where the emotion is going to come in. And emotion is a big, big driver on sales. It's really easy to sell something to somebody that's emotional about the outcome because they want it. They want it really bad. It's like the worse they want it, the more valuable it becomes. And for you, your marketing, a lot of times people don't really know how something works. They know they want the outcome, but the more they can understand like the process of how your thing is going to get them what they want, the more that's going to create demand and desire for it. It's like in marketing, and I refer to Frank Kern a lot. He's one of the guys that really was on the forefront of messaging in the internet space. And he used the thing, and this is a common thing in NLP, neuro linguistic programming, is timelines. Timelines are like the backbone of a lot of stuff. And in marketing, you got the same thing. Timelines are kind of the backbone of the customer journey. The timeline starts with where your prospect is currently. And where they are currently, they never want to be there. They always want something more. They always want something different. So their desired outcome is on the other end of the timeline. So they are where they are currently. That's their current state. The more you can understand about that, that's where all their pain lives. Their desire lives in getting out of that state and getting to the other end of the timeline where their desired outcome is. That's where you're going to find all the emotion. And in taking them through that timeline, the best thing that you could do from a marketing perspective is walk them through the logical order of what they have to do to get from where they are to get what they want. And if your program or your service or whatever it is that you have is in alignment with that and it delivers that faster, easier, done for you, anything like that, if it delivers that outcome that they want, you walking them through the process of how it works and how it's going to get them what they want, it's going to drive their demand and desire through the roof. The further you take them, the more they're going to want it and the more it's going to be worth to them. And I'll give you a perfect example of a guy, he sells dating advice. And you're probably going to think, how the hell is that relevant here? But it's the process that's relevant. He realized that his guys that wanted his product, they didn't know they wanted his product. What they wanted was they wanted to date women. And their biggest problem was they were scared to death to talk to them, right? He did the research. He figured out what their problem was, why they were where they were. They didn't know how to talk to women, right? So he set it up for him. And he said, look, he goes, here's your problem. Here's why you're never going to date women, because the first step is you got to get them to talk to you, right? And he said it that way. You have to get them to talk to you. And he said, I'm going to show you how to do that for free. If you opt in, I'm going to give you that first piece. So the first piece was basically, any guesses on what it was? Very simple. You have to talk to them, right? You got to open your lips. If you want them to talk to you, you got to talk to them, right? That was it. And he said, I want you to try it. He said, I want you to go out. I want you to leave your house and just try it. And he gave him a few things to say to open the conversations. And then he said, come back to me tomorrow and let me know how it worked. Well, they all tried it. They all came back and they were excited as all get up because it worked, right? He gave them the first step on the timeline to get what they wanted. And then he offered them the next step for $7. He said, now that you know this works, right? I work, I'm not bullshit. I'm going to give you what you need. they had that faith in him. He sold them a $7 thing that says, I'm going to tell you how to get them to go out with you, right? For $7. How many of them you think didn't buy the $7 thing? Right. And he's just taken them one step down the line to what they really want. And what people say they want isn't necessarily always what they actually want. They said they wanted dating, right? Well, that wasn't really what they wanted. They wanted sex, right? Some of them wanted marriage. Some of them wanted, the lifestyle of, happy life, married, kids, the whole Cinderella story, just in a male version. So he played them all the way down the line with that. And the further he got them down the timeline to getting them what they wanted, which, his first step to really what they wanted was the sex part. So, and he said, you're never going to have sex with them unless you can get them to kiss you, right? So the kiss thing wasn't $7. The kiss thing was more like $97. And here's how he did it. He said, I'm going to give you for $97, I'm going to give you the kiss test. This is after the date. You're going to be standing there at their door, and I will tell you whether they want to kiss you or not, so you can avoid that awkward situation of trying to go in for a kiss if they don't want it, that embarrassment and that rejection, because that's what they're terrified of. So he said, I'm going to eliminate that for you. I'm going to show you how to gracefully back out if they don't want it, or if they do, how to go in for the kill and have zero rejection for $97, right? And how many of them you think bought that?
Everyone.
Yeah, like all of them. Like some of them bought two to give to their buddy. So, and everything was so simple. The first thing was you got to talk to them, right? How simple is that? And the KISS test was equally as simple. He said, all you have to do is take your, I think he said, take your right hand. So take your right hand and come up like you're going to go behind her head. And he said, if the woman is ready to kiss you, she is going to lean in and it's going to be game on. And he said, if she doesn't lean in, if she leans back or acts a little bit shocked, he said, just go like you're plucking something out of their hair and say, oh, you had something in your hair. I was just trying to fix it for you. And he said, by doing that, you're going to throw her off so hard and she's going to feel so bad because she made an assumption that you were coming in for the kiss when you were just trying to help her look good. And that is going to make her want you like nobody's business. That's what he said. Now, I don't know if that's true or not, but
Right.
it sounds like a really good ploy.
Who was that?
And that was Eben Pagan
Oh,
is his real name, and he sold him. He actually created a whole persona of David D'Angelo. So David D'Angelo was the character he created to deliver this marketing message. Because who's going to want to buy dating advice from an Eben Pagan, right? Doesn't sound very sexy. So he created David D'Angelo, which was the character that delivered all of this marketing advice, or all this dating advice, rather. So pretty cool stuff. But then, his next seminar was how to get him in bed. And that was $10,000. Yeah, it went to $10,000. It was a live event. Or actually, no. I'm off with that. That was his $1,000 event. His $10,000 event was how to be a player. Because what he did was he isolated the crowd. He figured out, okay, which of these guys really just want to find a wife and be happy, and which of these guys want to take like all of their pent up hostility from being rejected all their younger years and go out and just, Be that guy. So those they called players. Who wants to be a player? And that was the $10,000 seminar. And he separated the herd. He had a certain amount of those guys that were willing to pay 10 grand to do the live event and learn how to be a player, how to get any woman you want. So his marketing took them through all of those different phases. And in the process, it was weeding out the ones that wanted A versus the ones that wanted B. And the B's were his big money people. So he satisfied the A's, but it got him the B's that he really wanted. So yeah, I know you're new. You haven't heard that story. A lot of people that are on here, they've heard that story many, many times, but it's still good. Every time I talk through that story, it's like, God damn, this guy was good. He was really good at the timeline.
Mm.
That's all about timeline. And every time you take somebody to the timeline, to the end of the timeline, they always want the next thing. So here's another thing on how to exponentially, we're talking about the flywheel process earlier. Here's the way to exponentially grow your business without doing any more effort. You have to do one simple little thing on the end of delivering your product or service, and it'll exponentially grow your business. Is figure out what they need next. Like when you get the person out of pain or you get the weight off them, what do they need next? And now they're on a new timeline. You've satisfied the first timeline. Their current position is completely different, and their outcome is completely different, their desired outcome. And you don't have to create products to fulfill that next outcome. All you need to do is figure out who does and become their affiliate. You can be their sales agent. And you just pass them off and you make the sales commission. And if you're really good, you'll look at their process and you'll say, okay, 3 months from now, they're going to be at the end of that timeline. And now I can send them an email and say, hey, I'm sure you're here by now. Here's what you need next. And you can do this on and on and on for the rest of their lives. You just have to figure out what's the next timeline look like. The first time I actually helped somebody do this process, it was a woman that was selling maternity dresses. And there wasn't enough profit in the dress for her to really make a living. And she was really bummed. She was thinking she was going to have to go back and do a day job and not be able to be with her, with her new child. And it was really tearing her to pieces to think that her business wasn't going to be able to sustain her being able to be at home with her, with her new kid. And when I introduced her to that concept, she created an 18-year sales funnel. So she wasn't just selling the maternity dress, she was selling every step of the process because she knew exactly what that woman was going to go through for the next 18 years. And she just found all the vendors, set up an 18-year sales funnel, and makes a fortune. Every time I told her, I go, you could literally give the dress away. You could lose money giving the dress away as a lead magnet just to get somebody into the next 18 years of profit. So just, looking at things a little bit differently can really have a big change in your outcome for your business. All right.
Thank you, John.
So you got a full 4-year education here
Sure.
in under an hour.
They appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, let's go to Sue. You had your hand up for a while there. Go ahead.
Yeah, actually, I'm setting up my webinar by the end of April, and I'm launching my membership at the beginning of April. And my webinar is basically start your digital business in a day, and my membership is scale your business. So those are the two offers. Actually, I'm revamping my offers, and those are the two offers coming up. So I just
Okay.
wanted to know about the leads which I will be get. Right now, I stopped the leads from Search AI because I'm revamping my offers. So I till now whatever education I got is like you get whatever leads you get from lead magnet or advertisement, you nurture them, and then as time comes, you do provide your offer to them or something like that. So here, these are my two offers. So how should I provide? How should I submit my offer to them? How should I present my offers to them? My one offer is start your business in a day. That I'm setting up a webinar by the end of April, and another one is a membership.
Okay. So I'm assuming it's leading from one to the next sale, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So
So
it's the funnel, like your other
yeah,
lady.
yeah. So a lot of times what you're doing with the first webinar is like the idea of getting the people in the room so you can explain what you've got to them. Sometimes you can get them to pay for that if you've got enough value in it that they're going to get something that they can take away from that that's worth the initial dollar figure. But almost always, when you get them into a webinar, that's the equivalent of getting people into a room. That is a one-to-many sales presentation, and that should be exactly what it is. Now, when I say sales presentation, I don't mean like hard sell. I don't mean like club them over the head and tell them you got to get this or you're stupid, and some of the stuff that people do. That's not my style. When I talk about a sales presentation, it's exactly what I just told Tim. It's like you figure out where they are on the timeline and what they want. And sometimes it's a very short goal. And a lot of times you can get them through that. You can get them what they want in that first 20 minutes or that first 45 minutes, whatever it is. And when you do that, when you give them that confidence that they can get what they want from you, they want more. And that's the perfect time to offer them something more on the end of that. So look at that of, should the first thing be free or should the first thing be paid a small amount, like a tripwire sale? And, sometimes uh, bringing them into a free thing on the beginning is a good way to do it. But then on the other hand, bringing them into a free thing might let them think that, well, I don't really need to show up because I didn't pay for it. So it can shoot you in the foot. Now, I say that both ways because I don't know. I don't know who your audience is exactly. Uh,
My
people,
audience is aspiring entrepreneur, people who want to start a business for a webinar.
okay. So you've got a lot of them that probably would go for the free. Again, there might be problems with that because the ones that go for the free might expect everything for free.
Oh yeah.
So you might decide that, after doing one or two of these, you might decide, well, nobody bought anything. So that's not my right audience. Those aren't the right people for me. And in that case, you pre-qualify them. You pre-qualify them by, the first thing is $97. Here's what you're going to get. Here's why it's worth 10 times that. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to walk you through the first thing, and then I'm going to show you how to get this other thing. And if you decide to do that, I'm going to give you your $97 back, or I'm going to apply it to the next thing.
Yeah, that is good idea. Giving
Yeah.
$97 back is a really good idea.
Yeah. And I've done that. I did that at Glacier Kennedy. I did a $2,000 application fee. And basically, the $2,000 was the price of the service I was offering them. But I told them, I said, you're not guaranteed that I'm going to take you on as a client. This first $2,000, it's an application fee. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to schedule our appointment for 30 minutes. I think it was 30 minutes. And I said, what we're going to do is I'm going to talk to you for 30 minutes and kind of consult you in that 30 minutes. And together, we're going to decide if we're a good fit. And if we are, I will apply that $2,000 toward your first month's service. If we decide that we're not a good fit, I'm just going to give you the $2,000 back. And we part ways. And the worst thing is you got a free 30-minute consultation. And that thing sold like crazy. But it sold after a 70-minute presentation of me walking them through exactly what they were going to get and why they needed it and how to do it themselves if they wanted to do it themselves. And believe me, what I walked them through, they did not want to do. So it was SEO. And I told them exactly what they were going to need to do. They could have taken what I told them and they could have done it themselves for free. Well, if you call their time free, but nobody on earth was going to go through what I gave them to actually do themselves. It would have been torture. It would have been the most ultimate pain they've ever been through in their life. Or at the end, I offered to do it for them. If they fit. And doing that takeaway was just brutal for them. The fact that they were on pins and needles to not know if I was going to actually work with them or not. And believe me, in those consultations, these people were on their best behavior. They were nice because they did not want us to decide to part ways. And that was mostly going to be on my decision. So it was the ultimate in qualifying people and getting nice people that really want to work with you and are going to be a pleasure to work with.
So
So
how can I do that with search AI leads?
it's the same thing. Just walk them through everything that they would have to do this on their own and then offer to do it for them. That's really what your presentation should be. It's here's what you want. I'm going to show you how to get it. And then your offer could be to do it for them or to offer them something, a software, a service, whatever it is that you've got, a training program to walk them through and make sure they get exactly what they want. So there's always three kinds of offers. There's a do-it-yourself offer if you're offering a training course. And then there's a do-it-with-you offer. I'm going to help you through it. And then there's a done for you offer where you don't have to worry, just relax. I'll do it. You just get the results.
I
And
was thinking of all three offers, but then I canceled the middle offer, done with you offer. So I have a DIY offer and DFY offer. I was thinking of a VIP weekend or VIP day, but then I canceled that.
Yeah, well, here's a perfect way to go into it. Go into it of I'm going to show you how to do this yourself so you can save a ton of money and you can have your, anybody that is with you can do this for you or whatever. I'm going to show you how to do it. So it's a do-it-yourself offer. And you might bring them in and take them through that in a live course or a webinar, whatever. $97, I'll show you how to do it. You can save yourself thousands of dollars, right? That could be your first offer. Now, during the delivery of how to do it, at the end of that, you can say, a lot of you might not want to go this on alone. So I have another thing where I have another program where I'll actually set up and I'll do this with you. It's a done with you. And it's not 97, it might be 497 or 997. And then you take them through that, and anywhere along the way, you can make the offer of, hey, if at any time you feel like this is just too much work, we have the done for you, and it's $29.97 or $49.97 or whatever. You're building the value by letting them experience the pain. That's the best way to sell something and is take somebody through a guided tour of how much pain they're in. That's the way I used to sell SEO. I just took them on a guided tour to discover how much pain they had. They didn't even know when I walked through the door, they didn't know they had pain. But after 10 minutes, I mean, I had them ripped in half and, they're bleeding on the floor, and that's a good time to offer them a Band-Aid. So that's the way I would do it. I would just figure out like what is your path sequence and then just guide them through why they want the next thing. That's how you can get them to the higher level. And you'll weed out along the way. You'll weed out the ones that were never going to work with you anyway. And, the price is the factor that weeds them out the quickest.
Okay.
There's a lot that you can just leave them in that bucket of the done by yourself, the do-it-yourselfers. And you fulfilled on your promise. You gave them exactly the value that they came for. No shame whatsoever in that, but you left them behind because that's where they wanted to be. That's where they wanted to be left off. And you separated the herd for the ones that wanted a little more help, and you got them what they needed. And you separated the herd for the ones that just wanted it done for them. And, again, you're leaving the people in the bucket that they're happy with, and everyone's happy. You can deliver a stellar experience to everyone that way. You should have something for everyone, and make sure they get what they want, because then they'll tell people about you, and then you'll grow that way as well. So
what should I write in the email? Because do I need to spend time in warming up the audience?
well, that's your whole, like, I can't tell you exactly what to write in the email. That's something you're going to develop by going through that whole process of the ACT program. That's the work part of it. So if you
Because
like to go for
some people say you have to warm up your audience like 2-3 weeks before you do the offer and all.
Yeah, there's some truth to that, of that might work, but that doesn't mean you have to do that.
Okay.
I've seen some really good offers where it was a one-shot deal of, hey, this is a one-off email. We're doing this thing this weekend. It's, if you get the value up, you don't need the hype. A lot of times when you see these big elaborate processes to manipulate people into stuff, usually the product on the other end is shit. And that's why they have to go through all that. If you've got something really good and you can convey the value of it, I think it's going to be a lot easier for you than that. And I'm going to take Tony here, and then I've got something I want to share with you guys that is really, really ultra powerful about how to use these leads that I hadn't thought of before. And there's somebody doing this, and they're absolutely knocking it out of the park. It's crazy the results they're getting. So, Tony, go ahead. You just have to unmute there.
Yeah. Okay. There it goes.
There you are.
Thanks, John, and hope you're having a good day. So my question was, you've been recommending this Kartra, and I don't have any experience with that, but I was curious why you're recommending the Kartra, and how does that compare to the Infusionsoft Keep app, which is what I've been using. Come on, baby. Here's my daughter. My daughter's got to come mess with me here now.
Okay,
while
sure.
I'm trying to talk with you.
So
Which is kind of unexpected.
I just wanted to know if you could come and help me when you're done.
Yes, ma'am. I will. So so why Kartra compared to Keep? Is there some advantages today that I don't know about with this Kartra, and Keep's old or clumsy or what?
So when I recommend Kartra, I typically recommend Kartra to somebody that doesn't have anything and is starting from scratch.
Okay.
If you're like, let's say you're in Keep and Keep is doing what you need done, there is no reason to change to Kartra.
Okay.
No reason whatsoever. If what you're doing is working,
yeah,
and you know how to use it, I say stick to that. That is in your best interest to stick with.
Interesting. They've been kind of, I'd call it ramping up their marketing recently, and I hadn't seen Clayton Mask really doing a tremendous amount of promotion, and then right recent he has been, almost as if they got some big announcement, or I'm thinking they're probably fixing to announce some kind of incorporation with some AI or some app or something.
Yeah.
I don't know if you got any insights on that. That's what I anticipate.
Yeah. I'm not sure. I'm not really in touch with the Keep guys. I know that's Infusionsoft. It's
Yeah.
like a light version of Infusionsoft. It's easier to use. But another reason that I do recommend Kartra is for people if they require a lot of my assistance, like if I'm going to work with them one-on-one to try and build their campaign, I don't know those other systems like I know Kartra. So
That's perfect. Yeah, that's good.
yeah.
That's what I was curious about. I didn't know if there was some significant differential between the two. I've been using this for 10, 11, 12 years or something like that now. So we got so many blasted web forms out, living in various pages and so many automations set up. Man, the idea of
Oh, yeah.
changing would be like, oh my
I,
God, I can't imagine what it would take.
I would not for a second try and persuade you to change if that's working for you.
This is not my daughter. This is my wife. Now my wife has
Oh, hello.
found me. I was hiding out for our meeting, and then now they found me. So that's what it is.
No
Sorry.
problem.
All right.
So
Thanks, guys.
yeah, Tony, are you using any? I forget. Are you using any kind of Facebook ads?
I'm not. Why do you ask?
Well, that was my big secret sauce thing I was going to talk about next. I couldn't remember if you were using Facebook ads or not.
So I'm glad you asked the question. So um this will probably sound kind of stupid, but when they kicked Trump off of Facebook, I quit spending a damn nickel with them people, man. I just thought to myself, if they will kick the president of the United States off of this app, I probably don't need to send these people money. And that, wherever your political persuasion is what it is. But that's what I felt, man. And I just said, and so I had worked with a guy named Sam Bell, and we, built up several thousand, leads over a period of time doing that. But I thought, anyway, Sam's been after me to come back and do some more, and I just hadn't done it because of that goofy little,
Well, one
stuff.
thing, yeah, no, I get that. That's a point of view, but one thing you want to make sure you don't shoot yourself in the foot because of somebody else is doing something you're not in agreement with.
Yeah.
Like Facebook is a massive ad platform, whether you agree with their politics or not.
Right.
Let's just set that aside for a minute and look at it as, could this platform help your business? And if it can, you might want to turn the other cheek and just let you come out ahead.
Yeah.
But here's what I want to share with you. And I had not even thought about this, but one of the guys using Acquisitionaire, he's doing this, and we had an interview with him this morning, and he's going to be one of our case studies and testimonials. And I'm going to try and get him to come on and actually do a training on how exactly he's doing this. But his results were freaking phenomenal. They were incredible. And he's not here. Get this. He's buying the leads from the Acquisitionaire system. He's getting not only the site leads off his site, but he's also getting the search leads from search. He's not emailing them. He's not calling them. He's not doing any direct communication or connection with those leads. But what he is doing, he's taking those leads, and he'll take 1,000 leads and he pumps them into Facebook for a lookalike audience.
Okay.
And then from the lookalike audience, he's getting traffic from that lookalike audience to his offers, and he's selling direct to commerce. So he has a commerce website where he's selling medical supplies to diabetics. Yeah. And for a $300 ad spend in Facebook, he did almost 30 grand worth of sales.
That's a good return.
He thought that was pretty good, so he spent 400. Okay. And he got almost 40 grand worth of sales.
Yeah.
This month, he's spending 700. He's got a $700 budget this month, And as of this morning, he was at $61,580 worth of sales. And the ad runs through Saturday night. So he's
Pretty
got,
consistent.
yeah, it's like, holy shit is about all I could say to that.
John, we started
Absolutely.
using last summer, shortly after I met you. We started using uh, a program called Agency Sonar. A friend of mine named Lee Goff had set up where we could monitor the visitors to our website and seamless AI to look up the back or the contact information on the companies that were visiting. It only works with, with kind of, guess you'd say companies. Doesn't really work with individuals, but that is perfect for me as we're business to business. But what you've described as the search, that we're not getting that with the little system I'm using.
Okay.
So that's a unique part of your acquisition air that we certainly don't have access to right now.
Yeah, yeah. What it's doing is it's monitoring secondary search across the internet. So anybody that runs a search like on any other website, it's monitoring them and it follows them around to see what content they're consuming. And when they consume two pieces of relevant content, then we flag them as a lead, and then we go over to big data and purchase their contact information and pipe that to you in real time. So you literally get this lead while they're looking at content related to what you're interested in grabbing them for. So it's really cool. But the idea of taking those leads and making a Facebook audience, a lookalike audience. So for those that don't know and are not familiar with a lookalike audience, let me tell you what that is. If you can figure out who your ideal 1 in a million customer is, and you can feed that into Facebook, they can give you 1 million of them. Imagine that. That's like picking through a needle in a haystack to find that 1 in a million. But then you gave Facebook the exact blueprint of how to automatically weed through a world of haystack and pull out 1 million of your ideal customers and hand them to you on a silver
Do
platter.
you do Facebook ads?
I don't myself. I have in the past, but that's not something that I specialize in. But I know how their algorithm works. And for you to do this on your own, for you to get 1,000 leads in Facebook, so it could create, its algorithm could create that scenario for you, it would cost you over $100,000 of traffic. That's why most people fail at Facebook ads. They don't have 100 grand to let the Facebook algorithm figure it out for them. So here with our system, we can generate 1,000 leads for a couple $1,000s. Now you've got your 1 in a million. You've got your recipe for Facebook's algorithm to do that work for you. So you load it up into their system as a lookalike audience. So you say, here is 1,000 people that's my ideal customer. Who else do you have that's like this? And their algorithm takes that 1,000 people, cross-references them to see what's the common thread between these people, and then who do we have in our 10 gazillion people around the world that matches that? And then your ads get displayed to all of those people. And that's what the case study I just revealed to you guys is doing. Incredible results for minimal ad spend in Facebook. For you to get to that level in Facebook, I guarantee you, you're going to spend $100,000 and go through a lot of pain to do it.
So John, you got the done for you part. You got the done for you offer, the done for you plan. I don't need another thing to do. I just need to know what could be done.
I wish I had that for you right now. This is kind of just a sneak peek to me figuring out what my next step is. And it's figuring out who can I put in place to do this shit for you?
Yeah. All right.
And I will get to that sooner or
Figure it
later.
out.
But I'm
But
a couple hours
the
into this.
acquisition air, you've got that figured out, done for you, right?
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Yep. Yep. We've got people that can run the campaigns and all of that stuff. So
Well, you need to send me the link for that, please, or
yeah,
the buy now button or whatever the hell it is you got for that.
just shoot me an email or put in a support ticket or anything that connects us and we'll
See,
get that for you.
that's two things that'd be hard for me to do, probably. An email or a support ticket. Probably.
All right.
But
Well, I'm gonna put a note down for you then.
all right. Thanks, man. Appreciate your help today.
You got it. I get that over to you this afternoon.
All right. Thanks, John.
Okay. All right. Manuel.
Yeah, I have a question. You said he had a commerce site. What was the name of a commerce site that he had? That guy that was selling
I don't have the domain of the commerce site, but it was they're selling it's medical supplies for diabetics.
Okay.
So that's what it was. Their average ticket sale is about a $300 sale.
Medical supplies for diabetics.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, when you find out what site, I'd like to see what they have.
Yeah.
I'm just curious.
We'll be putting
Because-
a case study together for that.
Yeah, I'm interested in the Facebook ads because I'm trying to figure that out actually.
Okay.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Anyway, yeah, just learning some stuff from you guys.
All right. Awesome. Well,
That's it. That's the only question I have
that was it.
right
All
now.
right. You got it. Roger, did you had your hand up there for a second? Did that answer your
Yeah, I
question?
was going to ask that. I was going to ask that same question.
Okay.
Who or what product was being sold where 300 in Facebook ads would get you $30,000 in top line revenue?
Yeah, it's medical supplies for diabetics. And here's the thing, he spent more than that to get to that point. Like he bought 1,000 leads through our system. And then he took that 1,000 leads and he put that into Facebook to set the base. He's like, here's my lookalike audience. So once that lookalike audience was set in Facebook, he then went into the ad platform, put a $300 budget for ads, basically to display his ads. He didn't, here's the thing. These ads he already had, he was already running in pay-per-click. He was running them in multiple different places. So he knew the ads were converting, but they're not converting anywhere close to this. He said his average, I think his average was $18 to get a sale. And that's pretty damn good. When you can spend $18 and get a $300 sale, that's pretty damn good. But doing this, he said he got his sale price down, or his client acquisition price down to like just over $3 from 8.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well,
So
I've been an advocate for Facebook ads if you have something compelling, because they've dialed me in. If I had more discretionary income, I wouldn't have more discretionary income. I'd be buying all the cool stuff they put in my Facebook feed, from fancy model ships to metallic assemble yourself working mini engines to build a historic clock. Oh God, they have me.
yeah. Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about. Once you buy one thing, it's like, holy shit, here it comes.
Yep. And so I know they're effective. I am always I click through the more info, because to be honest, I don't like medical supply ads and half the other ads that they show. So I will click show less of those, and I will purposely click through on the stuff I like, even if I'm not going to buy.
Yeah.
And they have dialed me in. So I see happy stuff all day long.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. If you don't have a Facebook lookalike audience and you're just putting your ad budget in there, they're going to be showing your ads to people that it's not relevant to try and figure it out. That's why I said you gotta go through 100 grand before Facebook's algorithm really figures out who your customer is.
Yeah, I have to tell you, John, I was even though I knew Facebook ads could be effective if they pop in front of the right person, I knew it would be difficult to get them in front of the right person until today, when you said you can generate acquisition error
Yep.
leads that constitute the correct audience,
Yep.
feed that to Facebook. Now Facebook has it dialed in. That's an exciting formula. I
Yeah,
think that's really
it's
good.
brilliant, is what it is. It's absolutely brilliant.
Equals MC John.
Yeah, I mean, if I had a mic here, I could drop it on that one.
Indeed. Thanks,
Oh,
John.
all right, absolutely. Anybody else before we wrap up for today? All right. Well, cool. That was about all I had for you guys prepared for today. So we'll go ahead and wrap up and let you go home a little early.
Actually, just wanted to tell you that I had two people, they are interested in the private jet, and one I'm talking to agency, they are interested in the agency level.
Okay.
So I can just send them to your next webinar, or
Yeah, you don't even have to wait for the webinar. If you've already got them interested, just send them your affiliate links.
okay, yeah, because one is actually my daughter works for a PR agency. So I told her that we say, why don't you talk to your agency? So she has been talking to them and all, yeah. And
Okay.
other two are actually my kind of friends.
Yeah, yeah, just send them your affiliate links and let them have at it.
Sure, thank you.
So cool. All right, guys, have a great week. We'll be back on regular time next week, and we will see you all then.
Thanks, John.
Yeah, absolutely.